Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another edition of the Shooters Lounge podcast. I'm your host, Matt at Post323. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. You can follow us on the socials at Shooters Lounge 3 and also follow us on YouTube at the Shooters Lounge and in podcast form on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. So the NBA playoffs are still going through. We're in the second round still. One team has already advanced. The other three are still up for grabs. So we've got back the returning Jordan. Jordan, this is like fourth pod in a row, bro. What's going on?
Hey man, Mr. Consistent. I've arrived for the playoffs, mate. I think it's as simple as that, really.
Sometimes your best ability is your availability, bro, isn't it? You know what I mean?
We might as well rock and roll with it. So here I am again, almost facing the music. We'll come on to that. Sure.
Yeah, it's been a tough couple of days for Jordan as a Celtics fan. For anybody who doesn't know, so I'm sure we'll dig into that very shortly. But are you good? Other than that, mate, you good?
Yeah, all good, mate. Obviously devastated about the elephant in the room.
Yeah,
I won't let the cat out of the bag quite yet, in case there's anyone who's living under a rock who doesn't know what's happened.
Yeah, the worst kept secret in NBA playoffs. No, but pleasure to have you on as always, bro. So we'll duck right in. So, like I said, one team has already gone through, closed it out last night. Number one seed in the East has gone. Second round, Cleveland Cavaliers are out. The Pacers close it out in Cleveland. The series 4-1. I don't know if many people had this, George, as a season correct score prediction. I think I saw on the ESPN that out of the 14 people that they asked, the analysts, they all had Cleveland taking this one out. So Pacers can kind of, they've talked the talk and they've walked the walk, George. So were you surprised on how this one's ended up?
I'm surprised based on prior to the series.
Yeah.
But watching it, I don't think there can be any question. I mean, obviously the scoreline speaks for itself, but I don't think there can be any question marks really about just how good the Pacers have looked across the whole series. They've been so consistent. I think the key word for me, Matt, is resilience. I think every game they've been in, if they've been put in a difficult position. I mean, last night they were behind by 19 at the end of the first quarter. And you'd blink your eyes and all of a sudden they were in front. So it was crazy how quickly they managed to turn that around. I thought it was quite interesting as well because obviously last night they weren't. I think they didn't get any. They didn't even get one single fast break point until after half time, which obviously for the way they play, the speed and everything else, is really surprising. But clearly, Kenny Atkinson made some changes to stop that, but it didn't really change anything, did it? They just managed to find a way to still put up numbers. And I mean, I don't know what got into Tyrese Halliburton last night, but he was like Steph Curry from out there.
There's some rainbows going out last night, mate. What the from Halliburton?
4 threes in 2.5 minutes. And I think that none of them were catch and shoots either. So he was fully playing like Steph Curry all of a sudden. So, dropped 31 points. Nothing less than I'd expect from the most overrated player in the league. He's just carried his team to an Eastern Conference final. But there you go.
Yeah.
It goes to show that some people clearly don't know what they're talking about, even if they play in the league. Want to talk about Donovan Mitchell? Now, there's no substance, really, from what I can see, apart from the fact that last night he shot 8 of 25 from the field, which is dreadful.
Not great.
Question marks about his foot or his leg, whatever it is, about whether he's injured or not. I mean, he played last night, so it can't have been that serious.
Took some hard balls last night too, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Just getting up though, getting up. Fair play to him,
22 free throw attempts last night for Donovan Mitchell on his own.
Yeah.
Don't know how I feel about that.
Are we in the Joel Embiid realm here for the?
I mean, he
Garden kind of territory, bro.
I mean, the funny thing is, he only made 16 of them.
Yeah, he
missed
towards the end of the game, didn't he? He got
missed
three and missed all three. That was
a
a bit of a killer, wasn't it, for him?
But no, it was. I mean, in fairness, all of them I did think were fouls. It was just, a lot of free throws because he was driving to the rim and he was getting contact. So I can't really argue with that.
Yeah.
But this is the point. If he was hurt with this leg injury, you wouldn't be playing like that.
No.
Relentlessly driving to the rim. You wouldn't keep doing it if you were nursing quite a serious injury. So I can't really. I don't really believe that it was that serious. I think Garland did well really to play through it because you could tell pretty much every game in this series that he's played, he's looked like he's in pain.
Oh yeah.
And I just think the one thing and the key to this series was Miles Turner.
Yeah.
I think he was a massive, massive difference maker. And the reason for that is that obviously you've got Mobley and Allen. Well, he was managing to do a job on both sides of the floor. Now, yeah, he wasn't putting it. I think last night they only get like 3 points. He got 3 points last night. But the point, the main thing that he was doing well is he was clogging up the paint on the offensive end, which distracted either Mobley and or Allen, which freed up someone because their eyes had been distracted with what Miles Turner was doing. He was just making a nuisance of himself really offensively. And then on the defensive end, he was capable of, he kept Jarrett Allen very, very quiet throughout the whole series of pain. And when he switched on to Mobley, he was doing a really good job as well. So I think he played exceptionally well across this series, and I think he was probably one of the key players.
Yeah. Miles Turner, who's been in trade rumors for what seems like 4 or 5 years. Now an integral piece on a team who's made conference finals 2 years in a row. I mean,
and there were plenty of Pacers fans, Matt, that were saying they wanted him traded instead of Sabonis, and they got rid of the wrong player. It's not looking like that now, is it?
A lot of people revisiting that trade at the moment, isn't they?
So, I mean, the one thing I just want to mention about Donovan Mitchell, because this is a weird stat. I don't know if you might be able to put some knowledge onto it to maybe make it make more sense, Matt. But the thing with Donovan Mitchell, he has finished as a 1 seed going into the playoffs on 3 separate occasions. Twice with the Utah Jazz and once now with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah.
His record in the postseason with said 1 seeds is 1-2. So he's lost 2 series as a 1st seed and only won once. I don't know about you, but that's a bit strange because that shouldn't really be happening.
No.
What do you put it down to? Because I know it might be more than that, but it just seems to me that, is it just that he's, because I mean, you saw his shooting split. So, even the game that he got 48 points, he still shot pretty badly, especially from 3. It was 1 of 11 from 3, despite putting 48 points up. He had a lot of free throws in this series, which obviously don't really matter that much when he's still putting the numbers up. But I think, again, last night, yes, Max Strus absolutely shit all over the court. I mean, what was it? 0.0 of 9 from the field and 0 of 6 from 3.
Yeah, he was in foul trouble in the first half. He got 3 fouls early in the second quarter or something.
Then he couldn't make a basket to save his life.
Didn't have his rhythm then after that.
But the one thing that I did notice is you've got no playmaker last night, right? Garland is hurt, so he's very limited with what he can do. Mitchell puts up 1 assist.
Yeah.
I get that Strus was missing all those shots, but you have other options. And it just felt to me that he was playing hero ball last night.
Yeah.
He wasn't.
Is that winning basketball? Yeah.
The first half, the ball was moving pretty well. And then in that second half, he just, he either refused to pass or he was only passing to Max Strus, who was missing consistently. So I don't think they got Evan Mobley involved last night. I don't think they got Jarrett Allen involved in the post pretty much at all. Ty Jerome came off the bench. I don't know why it was left that late. He wasn't injured. He wasn't listed on the injury report as doubtful or anything like that, or questionable.
No.
Don't know why he didn't play at all. You needed a spark plug in that second half. And for whatever reason, Kenny Atkinson waited 9 minutes to put his offensive, spark plug on for whatever reason.
Is this coach of the year, Kenny Atkinson? Yeah.
Regular season, mate, and playoffs, we always say it. They're very different beasts.
Very much so, mate. Yeah.
So for me, I just think the decision making last night was poor. The second half, I mean, maybe that's why Mitchell sometimes just doesn't quite do it when it's on the line. We saw him. Matt, the thing is, the point I'm making is, yes, he went for 35 points last night. That on paper looks very sound, very good for but when you dig a little bit deeper and you realise that defensively he was getting torched all night long and has done pretty much all season, which is nothing. It's not a big secret. Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
Puts up 48 points, 35, 37, good, really good numbers. Efficiency, despite putting those kind of numbers on the line, has been woeful. Yeah. And the main thing for me, it's been decision making. And when the pressure was at the absolute maximum yesterday, his co-star Tyrese Halliburton stepped up and played and contributed towards winning basketball. Superb efficiency, great ball movement, great decision making. Led the team. Won on the road again in Cleveland. Donovan Mitchell, 1 assist, not any defense being played, no sort of team basketball, nothing. Drives to the rim, ignores several options, doesn't pass the ball, lose. I mean, for me, it seems harsh on paper with how many points that Mitchell's put up and stuff like that. But you and I both know, Matt, if you want to win basketball games and you want to win series and you want to win the NBA championship, you've got to put up more than just pure numbers.
Yeah.
I'd prefer a guy to consistently put 20 points up, give us between 7 and 10 or more assists a night, play competent defense, make better decisions. I'd rather have that than someone who can potentially drop 50 points just in one game and play no defense and not pass the ball well. So I think that was the difference. And places once. And congratulations.
Absolutely. Starting on Mitchell, I mean, the threes hasn't been there for him all series long, mate. It was 24.5% from three for the series. The three just wasn't there, but he still kept shooting them. I mean, we might come to a similar conversation with your boys in a bit, but the three just wasn't there in this series for Mitchell. I don't think he shoots it at a great percentage anyway, but he consistently still tries to take them. I think the effort was there with Mitchell. I think it was pretty plain to see, but it's kind of like you say, the decision making on, are you making the right play? Are you doing hero ball? It looked like he kind of, like you say, kind of tunnel vision in the second half, where he's like, I'm the guy. I've got to make it happen myself and things, and maybe not trusting his teammates maybe as much as he should have done. The Garland thing is it is a big factor. It clearly wasn't right, and I think that shows really how much Garland makes the offense tick and how he brings a lot more people into the game and he makes other people around him better. So I think that was a big factor. But again, we've said it all the time with injuries and things. You've just got to carry on with it, haven't you? And he gutted it out, but he wasn't the same as they have been all season. They've had a fantastic regular season, Cleveland. But just sometimes it's about matchups, and you come up against a team you don't match up well against. And the series is over, and you've won 60 odd games, but you're out in round 2. So, like you say, it's it's a results orientated business, and the Cavs have come up short. But credit to the Pacers, man, they just keep coming. Like, it doesn't matter what the score is. They're down 19, 20, like you say. Have they been down double digits in like three of these 5 games? And they've won all of them. So it just. Credit to Pacers. They work so hard, man. They pick you up full court on defense. They're running it up and down on offense. It's actually really impressive, and conditioning is really impressive for this team. They just make it so difficult for you. Garland with an injury, and then somebody's trying to pick you up full court. It's a real tough way to go. But yeah, I mean, in this series, they have 6 guys who average double figures. The Pacers, so you don't really know where it's coming from. One game it could be Naismith, next it could be Nimhart, Mathurin, Turner, Halliburton, Siakam. Who knows who it is game to game, and I think that's very hard to play defense against, because you think against other teams, if you're Pacers, you think, right, we're going against Cleveland, we've got to stop Mitchell going, or we've got to stop Garland. We stop one of them guys, and it's going to be very hard for the other guys to kind of. But with the Pacers, you never know who it's going to be night to night. It's a different person every night who kind of steps up. Nimhart down the stretch last night hit some big shots, hit an and one. And it's like, and then tomorrow, next game, it could be Siakam, it could be Turner in a big shot. He hit some big shots in this series, and that's kind of, it's tough to play against, because you're not quite sure who it's going to be, who the guy is in this game who's going to have it going, and Halliburton just closing things out again, and that's when you want your top guys to come through in the clutch, isn't it? For sure. So. Credit to the Pacers, man. They said it was a fluke last year. I don't think this is a fluke this year, is it? Whether last year was or not, but this year definitely not, mate.
So, I mean, an interesting one, Matt. The Indiana Pacers, since January the 1st, it's New Year's Day, they've had the 3rd best rating across the league.
Yeah, so they've been really good. Yeah,
they've had the best record, not rating, sorry. So that goes to show the improvement. And the fact that, the 4th seed maybe doesn't do them justice. They've been playing better than that.
Yeah. They had a bit of a rough start, didn't they, I think? I
think they were below 500, like late November.
But at the end of the season, well, bro, that's what you want to do, innit? You want to end the season right, and
you want to be flying into the playoffs. That's when you want to hit your top form.
I think Cleveland were the other way around, maybe. They started really well, Cleveland. They just flew out the blocks, didn't they? They were in everything. And did they kind of teeter off a little bit towards the end of the regular season? Maybe they kind of took the foot off the gas because they knew that, the number 1 seed was wrapped up. But, they swept the first round, Cleveland. Everybody's thinking Cleveland, brilliant. Look at these, going to be, are they going to make the finals of things? Next thing, second round, new team. Against a different style of play, and 1, 2, 3 Cancun, mate. They'll be giving you a call, George.
They will.
Is that what you've been doing this morning? This is why you've been busy.
Oh, yeah, mate, that's it. I've been in the office all morning getting these flights arranged.
Get that commission going, bro. Get that commission going, mate.
So it's got to be done, mate. Got to be done. Got to pay the bills.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. So Pacers awaiting. Now the winners of a series that Mr. Jordan is obviously having a lot more interest in than most. Reigning champs Boston Celtics. I think the last time we spoke it was 0-2. Lost the first 2 at home. We've had 2 games since then. Boston taking game 3, and then game 4 the other night. For the neutral, a fantastic spectacle, but. For Boston fans, ended unfortunately with a loss, and unfortunately losing Tatum to an injury. It took a long time to find out yesterday, George, if it was an Achilles. It looked like an Achilles injury when I saw it, but it took a long time for him to confirm last night what was going on. Can you somehow sum up into words, bro, how you're feeling about this series, and also maybe about the Tatum injury as well?
I think I'll cover the Tatum injury because I think last week, and especially based on what I saw in the 4th game, I'm actually going to shock the world right now and say that I don't think the New York Knicks have been given enough credit for this series, and I want to do that. So I'm going to cover this. I'm going to cover the injury first, so we're not distracting away from that. I want to separate the two. Because I saw quite a lot of people saying that we would have won that game if Tatum never got hurt. I'll talk about that in a few minutes.
Okay.
But essentially, it's devastating, isn't it? It's absolutely devastating for your best cornerstone player. And the thing that makes it worse is the fact that this is our guy. This isn't someone that we brought in a trade. It's not a ready-made superstar. As Celtic fans, we've watched him over the last 6 seasons just, elevate his game, come into the league, his development with Brown and the rest of the guys, and he's and big Uncle Al as well. Obviously, he's been a massive mentor for Tatum, and they're probably never going to share the court again together, which is gutting. Because Horford's he's probably only got another season left. He can't run forever.
Yeah.
He's going to be 38 in a few weeks, so it's just sad, man. I don't know what to say, but it's sort of. I couldn't really give a toss about this series now because of that injury, and I think that's a sentiment that's shared by quite a lot of Celtics fans. It's like we don't really care about this series anymore because our number one option, our clear and away best player, a top 5 player in this league, who will shortly be confirmed, I've got no doubt, for a 4th All-NBA first team.
Yeah.
To just end up potentially missing an entire season with all the other things that come with an Achilles injury. The only thing that sort of gives me any hope is that obviously Dominic Wilkins tore his Achilles in the 90s when obviously medicine and sports physios and everything else was a lot more in its infancy.
Yeah.
He was largely the same player when he came back.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant, again, he tore his with the Warriors when he was much older than Tatum is, when he'd had already sort of semi-serious injuries before that.
Yeah.
Not as serious as an Achilles, but still other things. This is Tatum, as you were saying earlier, Matt, this is Tatum's first major injury.
Yeah.
We know he's had injury. We know he's had issues with his wrist, but he's been able to play through it and get it sorted out in the off-season. This is the first time that he's had an injury that has just stopped his career stone dead.
I think he knew when he did it at the time, Joe, didn't he? You could tell the look on his face. I think he knew, didn't he? He knew something was really wrong when he'd done it.
Well, he was in tears, wasn't he, going back to the locker room in the wheelchair?
Yeah,
so it's not a sight. It's not a sight I don't think that anyone wants to see. I certainly wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. I wouldn't wish it on any players, regardless what team they play for, who they are. I would certainly never wish for any sort of injury, especially something as serious as this.
I know people who've had this injury, bro. It is not nice, mate. You have to have a cast on for a long time. And you essentially have to kind of learn how to kind of walk again with the mechanics and stuff. It's not a pleasant injury at all. Obviously, it's going to be a lot better for Tatum with the condition that he's in. It's just not a very nice injury to have, bro. I don't think.
No, I do want to say as well. Whoever that clown was on ESPN yesterday, and I'm not being funny. The comments that he made yesterday were nothing short of absolutely disgusting, and he should be ashamed of himself. I don't know who gave him a job. I don't know what trash bin they dug him out of. But to sit on national TV and say that every game you actively sit there and hope the other team get hurt is disgusting. I don't know what sort of comment to make that is. I've never heard anything like it. That's the kind of thing that you'd hear from 14-year-olds on Twitter. It's not the kind of comment that I expect a professional analyst to sit on national TV and make. And
who said that? Who was that, George?
So it was on ESPN yesterday morning, and I can't remember the name of the guy. Okay. Just give me 1 second.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, for me as a neutral, bro, it was. Sorry, go on.
Breakfast Ball Live.
Right.
Again, I've never seen the show before.
I haven't heard of that, bro.
But, yeah, he said yesterday, I don't want their best. I pray for all their guys to get hurt and our guys to stay healthy.
No, you don't. That
you don't make that comment. And I mean, the worst part about it is he made that after Tatum got hurt.
No, you don't.
You don't say things like that. Just wanted to address that one now. I think we'll win tonight because I think everyone is going to be fired up to the max. And I think we finally see Jaylen Brown get off his arse and contribute something better than he has been doing.
Hasn't been the Jaylen Brown of last year's playoffs, bro, has it, this time? He's struggled in this series, hasn't he?
I still think there are question marks about this leg injury they missed some time with. I think that's probably what it is. Because I know Rob was saying last week, wasn't he, that the explosiveness is just not been there. No. That sort of first step is just sort of gone at the minute. Not to say that it won't come back, but he's not even been trying. So it's not like he's been trying to run and it's just not been there. He just hasn't been using it, which leads me to believe that it's still an issue with that leg. I just think that they will want to win for Tatum tonight. I think now at this stage it'll be Knicks in 6. I think we'll win tonight, and then we'll go back to MSG, and then unfortunately I think we'll just lose because we won't have the firepower that we need. So that's where I see the series at. About Game 4, prior to that, I mean, it was maybe the best, most complete game of basketball from Tatum before this injury happened. That's the worst part about it.
He was having a fantastic game, wasn't he?
42, 8 and 4, 6 of 9 from 3, 4 steals, 2 blocks, true shooting percentage up at 72%.
I mean, what else can you do, really?
I mean, you know, when your luck's not in, your luck's not in. I don't know who he's pissed off recently, but you know, clearly the basketball gods weren't happy with something. That's all I can really put it down to. Because it's just a freak injury, isn't it? It's a non-contact injury. It's, I mean, have you got anything to say about the injury, mate? Before I actually talk about the basketball itself.
I mean, as a neutral, mate, just gutting because you know I enjoy watching Tatum, a fantastic player, and we were saying the other day, weren't we? You know, Tatum usually saves for me, from what I've seen of Tatum, his best performances for. In games away from home. And we said, didn't we, when the Celtics were down 0-2 after the first 2 home games, you know, can Celtics win 2 games in Madison Square Garden? Absolutely they could. Because, you know, usually that's when Tatum's kind of most of the time, I would say, probably, you know, puts in his best performances. And Game 4 was he was putting together a complete kind of performance. Really kind of keeping the Celtics in it, really. When he got injured, I think they were down 7, weren't they, at the time? So I think the Knicks were at the process of maybe trying to pull away. And that just kind of, I can imagine, just took the wind out of the Celts, you know, at that time. But yeah, I mean, you know, you're not going to see Tatum now for another 12 months, which I think, or maybe more, which is a gutting thing, isn't it? I never want to see any players injured, bro. I want the playoffs. I want everybody to be healthy. I want the best people out there doing what they do. And then there's no kind of arguments then over, we won this series, if buts and whens or whatever. But it's a shame. And there's every chance that Tatum can come back, bro, and be as good as he was or is. You know, he's young. He's in the best, probably the best condition of his career so far before this. Obviously, he did have the wrist injury, fair enough, but conditionally, he should be in. He's had a great season. I think he was very good in the regular season. He's probably going to be first team All NBA, bro, isn't he? Because it's a regular season award. So it's just a shame, mate. You know, we're not going to see Tatum for maybe 14 months. It's probably going to be after next season, isn't it, where we see Tatum again, which is a shame and raises a lot of question marks for Boston now, man. Like after this season, you know, if it ends this series or maybe beyond, we don't know yet. But there's going to be a lot of questions now with Boston. There's a lot of, you know, the sale going through. Are they going to want to repay the repeater tax and things and salary caps? And are they going to try and get rid of some salaries off contracts and things? So your season and your career can change in an instant, bro, can't it? And this is a kind of a classic example of things can just turn in one moment and everything changes. And, you know, like you say, that this could be, you know, Tatum and Horford might ever play together again. This could be it. It could be Brown and Tatum's last ever game. Who knows? Like, there's a lot of question marks now, bro. You know, the potential. Not that I'm breaking any news or anything, kind of thing, but there's a lot now of this could be a very different Celtics team next season. Who knows?
I mean, all I'm saying is that I've seen a lot of very knee-jerky reactions from Celtics fans. I've been surprised at the volume of people wanting Brown out of the team. This is a guy that won Finals MVP less than 12 months ago, who it is still my opinion that the reason he's been underperforming is because he's nursing a leg injury, of which there is evidence for. It's not like I'm making this up. So I think we need to just calm down a little bit. It's obviously a lot of emotion flying around because people are obviously really upset about Tatum's injury and all the rest of it.
Yeah. You being one of them, I think.
Well, yeah,
you weren't in a good place yesterday, bro.
No, I wasn't. But I think that the thing is obviously, can you remember when Warriors managed to somehow fluke the second pick in the draft in the middle of just before they won a championship? Unfortunately, wasted that on James Wiseman. But obviously, that was a position where Clay had gone down, Kevin Durant had just left. And then Curry went down within 9 games with a broken hand and missed the season.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you never know how things are going to work out when someone gets hurt, I mean, look at that. Who would have managed to anticipate that just, in the middle still of their championship window for the Warriors that seemed like it was never going to end at one point, they managed to get the second pick in the lottery. So, I don't know, man. You never know. But I think the main objective, I think, especially with this new sale, I mean, Wick Grausberg, he sold the team at the right time, didn't he? Because I don't think he'd have got as much money for him now.
Sold high, mate. Sold high.
Is that I think they'll want to get under the second apron because we're very close to it. I think they'll want to, bring it right down. Don't, get out of the luxury tax. And the ways that you're going to do that is getting rid of Porzingis and Drew Holiday. It's not difficult to do. It's not complicated. It's a very straightforward thing to need to deal with. And I think it puts new emphasis now. As we saw this guy, Baylor Shireman, at the end of the season, was looking like prime Rondo with some of the passes he was putting out. It gives a chance for guys like that to, give them a good run in the team, see what they're capable of.
Next man up, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, he could quite potentially be the guy that slots into that 3 while Tatum's not there, or they just play White at the 2 and move Brown up to the 3. God knows. But we'll have to just wait and see, mate, in terms of that.
There's a lot of questions that we're not going to have the answers to in a while, are we? You know what I mean? Like you say, a lot of knee-jerk reactions straight away. It's all very raw and new and stuff, isn't it? So it's a lot to kind of process and things, isn't it, with the Tatum injury?
I think it'll be a busy off-season, mate. And I'll be very curious to see what direction, they decide to go in.
Also, when you're talking about injuries, Porzingis doesn't look right either. He hasn't looked the same since he come back. And so that's another kind of contributing factor as well, maybe. But that's been a bit rough. What value is he going to have in the trade market? Who knows?
Well, I mean, I actually think that I've got a mate he works in sports physio. He's very, very knowledgeable. In terms of like sports related injuries, he's probably he's worked with Arsenal Football Club with the men's team, and he's also done some work for England cricket. So his wealth of knowledge is obviously quite good. I sort of explained to him, he's not a basketball fan, but I explained to him about Porzingis' injury, some of the symptoms and things like that. And he reckons that it could be gesticulitis.
Okay.
Which it's the same injury that was suffered by Brock Lesnar when he was on the UFC. It's essentially your colon. If you've had sort of damage to it, I know it's going to sound silly because you'd think that means that Brock Lesnar's been getting punched really hard. It's not actually heavy punches. It's very light contact, but repeatedly light contact to the colon, which can happen when someone's playing in the post, trying to back someone down, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it can last for quite a long time. It can leave you feeling very sluggish, very tired, out of energy. You lose your capacity, your lung capacity shrinks massively. It's a really sort of taxing illness, and it can take months for it really to go out of your system.
Yeah, which aligns with how Porzingis is looking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely.
And obviously the Celtics have just said it's a mystery illness. Well, that is one thing that you would tend to not really say to anyone because people can take advantage of it then.
Yeah.
Which it potentially is why it's been kept under wraps. But let's focus on the basketball now, Matt, because I feel like the Knicks fans are going to be thinking I'm doing the same thing again.
No, go on, man.
Now, I just want to say that fourth quarter, even before Tatum got hurt, it was just brutal basketball from the Knicks. They were making everything, every single one of them was just absolutely flying in that fourth quarter. Jalen Brunson, he was just, well, I mean, between the last 2 minutes of the third quarter and the fourth quarter, the Knicks had 37. Brunson had 18 of them.
Yeah.
And he was shooting at about 63% from the field. So you're going to do well to stop, and Derek White was on him like glue. And he was still making shots look very routine, very easy. He was making all sorts.
Yeah.
27 of his 39 points in game 4 were, and this is something that I want to contrast to very shortly, were in the paint or at the free throw line.
Yeah.
So, and 18 points in the paint for a 6'2" guard. We've got a 7'3" center out there. That should not be happening, should it, Kristaps Porzingis?
No.
21 points he put on KP last night, the other night before. Porzingis played 17 minutes. That is concerning that you are getting put 21 points on your head by a 6'2" point guard.
Yeah.
That's not good.
No.
It goes without saying. I thought everyone else defensively, we did look all right until that, and I don't know what happened in that fourth quarter. Apart from the Knicks just being lights out from the floor, it wasn't even like the lights out from the floor; it was lights out from everywhere. Brees was making some big shots, which he hasn't done in this. Yes, he's been amazing defensively, especially late on.
Yeah,
but his shot hasn't been falling all series, and then all of a sudden it started falling, and it wasn't stopping.
Yeah, man. He's cutting across the paint, fadeaways, and he's back to the old Suns, Mikal, mate, I'll be honest.
So, obviously, it's a guy obviously you know very well, Matt. So,
yeah.
And I just think it's a testament to the team that they managed to knuckle down and perform at that level. Because it was just, it was unbelievable, really. The momentum just completely flipped. And I thought even before Tatum got hurt, it was a runaway train that. They were just not missing anything. Every single time, we could not get a stop to save our lives. And it wasn't for a lack of trying. They deserve game 4, no questions asked for me. I think it's hands down the way that they executed in that fourth quarter. Whether it comes down to, another time that we've not been able to keep a double-digit lead, fading away, fading slightly in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
It goes without saying, regardless of what happened with injury, Tatum had no help, did he, whatsoever? He was having to do it all on his own. To mention my favourite commentator, Doris Burke, who repeatedly kept saying more than twice that Jason Tatum is just running up the court and just firing. And she said that about 2 seconds before he hit like a 35-foot three-pointer. And do you want to know why he was trying to do it all on his own? It's because outside of him, the rest of the team shot 34% from the field in that second half. 34%. I wonder why he wasn't passing him, why he was trying to do it all himself. 72% true shooting percentage versus 34. I know what I'm going to choose.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's just frustrating because people are saying, would the injury have happened if someone actually would have stepped up and it wasn't all on him to make all the plays happen? Maybe, but I think the main point is that if we were ever going to stand a chance in this series, the way that it's played out, we need someone else. He's supposed to have this super team. It's not a super team, but he's supposed to have this very, very good team supporting him. Well, where are they? Because apart from Derek White, everyone else has been rubbish. Injuries aside with Brown and everything else, they have just been poor outside of Derek White.
Yeah.
Inconsistent. Pritchard, what a performance in game 3. And then again in game 4, nothing was going. Nothing was going whatsoever. And he just gave up on it. And I don't understand why. You just keep shooting because that's all we're going to do anyway. And I'd rather trust a guy that's a very good 3-point shooter than trust someone that's playing below average and clearly can't put it together on the night.
Yeah.
There's just been so many things that have gone wrong in this series in terms of focus, consistency, staying with it, and yes, supporting people that are actually going to step up and help Jason Tatum because it's just not been there.
No. What? So who's stepping up now then, George? Who's for Game 5? Who's stepping up?
I mean, we're gonna have to see how much this lad can run because Jaylen Brown, time is now. Time is now. You've got to do it now. And, he was absolutely inconsolable in the press conference after the game. And I just think, you know what? Channel that, because he's usually very good at doing it. Channel that into tonight and just go up and play. Just play it for Tatum. Play it for the injury. Don't really care about the injury, about the series. Just play to win tonight. And then at least, can put a smile on some of the fans' faces at least. And then that's it. But if this ends up being a disaster tonight, then it's just going to make me feel sick. We can't go down and just get absolutely torched by him again. And
is this series over then, George?
I think most people would say yes, it is.
Do you think it's over though?
Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah. And
sorry to ask, but yeah,
it just falls down to the fact that the best player in the series is injured with an Achilles tear. That's what it boils down to, mate. It'll do that in most, in most playoff series. That'll happen.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
If we'd seen signs from some of the other guys that they were capable of filling the gap, maybe not. But I just haven't seen that so far from anyone, apart from Derek White. I love you, Derek.
Derek White, the unsung hero. Yeah, I mean, like you said, Pritchard, I think he played nearly 35 minutes in Game 3.
And played, was it 19 or something in last 20?
So he went back, Mazzulla went back to Porzingis, I think, a bit more, and it's just not delivering, is it?
I need to say this, Matt, because I forgot. You've just reminded me. Now, I was losing my mind with, once again, Joe Mazzulla's timeout tactics. There was one really early on in the game where I was like, right, call a timeout. Didn't happen. We missed 3 straight shots. Knicks made 3, and then he called a timeout. Too late at that point. They've seen the target, and that's given them the confidence now. Miss your chance. But the main one was in that third quarter where they just started missing, and we'd hit a couple of shots. They'd had a timeout a minute before that. So clearly whatever Tom Thibodeau has discussed hasn't worked. So the last thing you need to be doing is calling a timeout. Because he's putting plays out there that we're countering and it's working right now. Don't call a timeout because then he can change it. So what does he go and do? Calls a timeout.
We're back in the Joe Mazzulla timeout class again, aren't we?
It just beggars belief. I don't understand it. But the main thing, I don't want to jump on his back because I think everyone's been really unfair on him. I mean, he was massively important for us late on in the postseason last year, led to a championship. Clearly not looked right this series. Porzingis, I mean, fella, what is going on? What are you doing? I just... Defensively, not there. Offensively, not there whatsoever. 3-pointers just not existing whatsoever. The decision making and the slow, he's playing like a snail. some of the decisions that he's made have just, I don't understand what's going on. And to make it worse, Matt, he came out of that game, which I thought that game 4 was the worst game he's played in this series by far, and he's not been good as it is. He really sits there afterwards and says, today's the first day that I felt back to 100%. Are you serious right now? Can you go back to being like 50% because you were playing better then? It's just not. Yeah. It's just not been there. Well, you know, and he was getting lit up like, you know, with Brunson, like I said. But then our favourite timeout caller just keeps him in the game. I must have shouted 3 or 4 times at the fucking TV the other night. Get him out of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, you watch enough basketball, you know kind of when the
points with him there. You've got to get him out of the game. I'm pretty sure if you say to Al Horford, Al, I'm really sorry, but I'm going to need you to play an extra 5 or 6 minutes tonight. I don't think Al Horford's going to turn around and say, no, I'm not doing that. He will 100% be fine with it. So why not do it? He's not going to moan or complain. If he has to play an extra 5 minutes, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But he just kept him out there, and it was just so obvious that it was just every single possession they were getting the switch onto him, and they were scoring every single time. And he just kept him in there for way, way too long. I think it was to counter Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'd rather Mitchell Robinson be the one hurting us than Jalen Brunson. Because all Mitchell Robinson can do is stand on the rim and dunk and lay up. Yeah. That's it. Jalen Brunson can kill you from all over the floor. So I'd much rather be in that position. But
true.
I don't know, man. He was rubbish. He was absolutely rubbish. And for them to come out and say he's close to 100% again, oh boy, you've got no caveat there. Then
he hasn't got long to make up, mate. It's game 5 tonight, so we'll see. We'll see how the Celtics can rebound, bro. But I think this was the best overall game that the Knicks have played all series. I didn't think they'd had a game really before this where they played particularly well, really. So that was the worry for the Celtics, is they hadn't had a game that they played. I thought that this is the best Knicks overall game that they played, game 4. And like you say, you've got somebody like Brunson. It's just, when you have somebody like that who you can shut the ball to at the end of the shot clock or at the end of games, and he just knows how to get to his spots and get a bucket, it must give the rest of the team so much more confidence. So you've got to give the Knicks credit for that. They have a job play 7 players, the Knicks, mate. They're playing them 5 guys and are sprinkling a campaign and Deuce McBride, mate. And they're literally just riding with them guys, aren't they? I mean, they're even surviving Karl Anthony Towns' playoff stupidness, the stupid fouls and things that we've been used to Cat doing over the years. And it doesn't matter. And there's, and they've been worthy of the 3-1, haven't they, George? I think, you've got to give them credit, like you said, and you've got to give them credit for their intensity on defense. And, it's a very old school way of basketball. And it's such a contrast to styles. The Celtics, they shoot threes and they live and die by that a lot of the time. But the Knicks, they're like, yeah, fine, mate. We're just happy with them little floaters, 2s. Yeah, we'll have that little mid-range. Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that 19-footer from Bridges. Hart, big offensive rebound putback, OG doing things. And they've got a lot of people they can chuck at your best players, haven't they? They've got Hart, they've got OG, they've got Bridges, who they can throw at Brown and Tatum to make it very difficult for them.
Realistically, Matt, I think this is it. OG Anunoby, 23 points, 11 of 15 shooting. That is one thing that's flown under the radar, but that in of itself, that changes the game entirely.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. I mean, you look at the average minutes for Knicks players in this series. Bridges is averaging 44 minutes, Brunson 40, Anunoby 38.8, Josh Hart 37.9, Towns 34.7. They're just riding with that 5, aren't they? a lot of the time. And the classic Tibbs. This is no new story, is it? classic Tibbs. This is what he does. He rides with these guys, and that's it.
I mean, I don't want to sort of be that guy and be like, oh yeah, well, the Knicks still aren't going to win the chip. But the one thing that would concern me if I was a Knicks fan, is that surely you're going to get to a point where you've just exhausted the players.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's a lot. This is, regardless what's happened this series, this has not been an easy series for New York. It's been physically testing.
Yeah.
The Pistons series obviously went 7 games, and
six games were 6. That one.
Oh yes, yeah. Sorry, 6.
No, you're right.
So, but obviously, that this is now going to be at the very least 11 games that you've played with that amount of minutes and that going on the bottom on the clocks of the players.
Yeah.
This
is what happened last year, though, didn't they? They ran out of gas.
And after
game 7 at home against the Pacers, and they ran out of gas. They got nothing left.
And I think my fear, Matt, is if I was an Knicks fan, my fear would be that that's going to happen. History is going to repeat itself, because this is even longer now. It's going to be a longer amount of time that you've played. But that's the downfall of Tibbs, and it has been for a long time. That's what people have always pointed to, isn't it?
This is it. This is the Tibbs way of doing things. He hasn't proven that it's a winning formula yet. Who knows? It might be this year, but like you say, there's a limit on what the human body can do, and Tibbs tests this every year, doesn't he? Of what's what people can do and how long people can play and stuff. But we shall see. So game 5 tonight for Boston. So George says they're gonna Celtics gonna put a bit of pride in tonight and make it 3-2. Go back to New York. So.
It might be wishful thinking, Matt, but I think they're capable of at least pinching one more.
Well, if you get one of them games where you shoot really well from 3, bro, you're going to be tough to beat, aren't you? So you haven't had that game yet in this one, really. So
I mean, I'd say game 3 was pretty close.
Yeah. So if you play like that, you're going to win, aren't you? So if you do that again, then it's back to New York again, and playoff games at the Garden are always fun for the neutral, anyway. But, that's enough therapy for George. We'll move on. As a bit of an interlude before we move into the West, there was also something happening on Monday, like the Tatum thing. Everything can just change on a sixpence. The Dallas Mavericks rising from the ashes of their own doing completely by trading Luka Doncic midway through the season for some magic beans to the Lakers. Somehow leapfrog about 7-8 other teams with a 1.4% chance, and they win the draft lottery. Who'd have thought it? And basketball is back in Dallas. George, what was your first reaction when you saw that the Mavs had won the draft lottery?
The same as probably everybody. It's an absolute fix.
Literally. Are you freaking kidding me?
I mean, Chris Paul gets traded miraculously. First overall pick to the Hornets, wasn't it? Hornets, Pelicans?
Hornets, I think, back then, yeah.
I'm trying to remember now. But anyway, first overall pick. AD gets traded to the Lakers from New Orleans. First overall pick, Zion Williamson. Nico Harrison makes an absolute hash of the Dallas Mavericks' future.
Oh, man.
Again, a trade to LA. And again, the first overall pick falls to that team. Once is a coincidence. Twice is suspicious. 3 is a pattern. And it's the fact that the odds have always been as well for those 3 teams. They were very low odds. They weren't high.
No.
This is the lowest percentage out of those 3 teams. And I mean, what do you do if you're a Chicago Bulls fan? Because you lost this on a coin toss.
Yeah.
The tie break between that. They get the 14th pick. Dallas get the first overall pick. I mean, that's got to sting a bit, hasn't it?
Unbelievable. I mean, it's not just the Mavs, bro, but the 76ers and the Spurs also leapfrog the three worst teams with the worst records, with the best chance to get the number one pick, and them three leapfrog all of them. I mean,
so I've actually got a stat, Matt. The probability of Dallas, San Antonio, and Philadelphia getting the top three in that order was 0.0014%.
Unbelievable.
Which is about that. That's it. Yeah. There it is. So
I do have the graphic for people watching on YouTube there. So yeah, I mean it's a tough one. If you're a Hornets, Jazz, or Wizards fan, mate,
especially a Wizards fan,
you're sick, bro, aren't you? You're absolutely sick. I mean,
if you're a Wizards fan, you will forever have my sympathy. You poor bastards.
I mean, they've had to watch some awful basketball this year, and unfortunately, well, I say nothing to show for it, but the capture the flag has been and gone, and now it looks like the Cooper Flag will be heading to Dallas, or will he? Now the rumors start. Now the rumors begin.
I mean, just remember that this is the Mavs and Nico Harrison we're dealing with.
All bets are off, bro. All bets are off.
God knows what's really going to happen.
No idea.
I still think, surely to Christ, he's going to go to Dallas. I mean, seriously. The only thing I can say is that, I mean, look at the other side of the conspiracy, Matt, is what if this is the NBA's middle finger saying, try and move, you're going to try and move the team to Dallas, are you?
Yeah, good luck.
Oh, no, you're not now.
Yeah, maybe. That's a good shout, bro.
But I just think that realistically, I know obviously when you take into account all the different multipliers with three teams having a 14% chance, but the one thing that I always think 14% is not that high. So
is it worth it?
Realistically, you are gambling. It's not like the old days where if you were the worst team, you would get the best pick.
Yeah.
You've got to be careful. And, realistically, even after the Luka trade, they were not aiming to be a lottery team, Dallas. That's not what the aim wasn't for the lottery. And they've somehow fluked they've failed upwards.
literally, they have, mate. That's literally.
It's quite miraculous, really, Matt. But
when I was watching it, bro, I was like, "Don't you freaking dare, San Antonio! Don't you dare!" If they got the number one pick, mate, I was quitting. I'm out. I'm not playing this game anymore. This is.
Well, I mean,
Cooper Flag and Wemby. I'm done.
I mean, the only thing that I would have to say is, I'm sure they will at least try and put together some semblance of a package for that first overall pick. They will try. I don't think it'll happen, but they will.
Nico will be getting a lot of calls.
I think they will throw everything they can at Dallas. They'll give them every pick under the sun.
Yeah.
And, 3 or 4 players and say, we want that number one pick. Swap us for number 2. And like we've said before, who knows? Might be enough.
Oh, God. Oh, man, people are going to be calling Nico a lot coming up to draft day, I think. I mean, what does San Antonio do with the number 2 pick? Is that going to be any Giannis package? The rumor mill now is just churning away now, isn't it? There's a lot. What are the Sixers going to do with 3? I mean, talk about stumbling upwards. I mean, Sixers tanked the last 25 games of the season, so they kept their pick and then fall into number 3. I mean, it's unbelievable.
And obviously the third pick historically has been, arguably the second best in reality.
Oh, well.
If you go through the history of it, historically speaking, 3 has probably been better than 2.
Yeah.
These things work out, isn't it?
Big decision coming up, man.
But yeah, I think this is the Spurs pick has now become incredibly valuable for any future trade that they try and make. And that probably, especially if Giannis is sort of saying he's tapping out and saying he's done in Milwaukee, that's incredibly enticing for the Bucks to say we're not just taking picks for him, we are getting the number 2 pick this year.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, this hopeless rebuild that it was looking like they were going to be rubbish for years just gets a bit of a kickstart, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. It's going to be interesting. The Giannis thing, that was another story that broke yesterday. The biggest kind of non-story, I don't know if it was Monday or I can't remember now, was that yesterday or whatever, but he was open-minded about maybe leaving or something like that. It's like whatever the hell that means. The most kind of non-story, non-committed story that as I've seen. It's just the rumor mill's just going to begin now, isn't it? It's a lot of teams are now in the off season, and these rumors are just going to keep swirling around, aren't they? For sure. I'm waiting for the LeBron rumor, just as the NBA Finals. The LeBron, I don't know if I'm playing next year now. I'm waiting for that, trying to dominate the storyline at the NBA Finals, stuff like that. It's all very strategic, I find.
Yeah, I mean, when you're LeBron James, I think you get the benefit of the doubt, don't you? So
fair, yeah. It doesn't make it any less funny. So that'll be interesting to see what happens. Whether the Mavs will trade the pick or whether they'll take Cooper Flag, or maybe they just won't take Cooper Flag. Maybe they'll take somebody else. And San Antonio just sit there going, "Thank you very much. We'll take Cooper Flag. Thank you." Yeah.
God forbid.
Like I say, with Nico Harrison, mate, all bets are off. With how this season's gone, this season's just been nuts. With one thing and another, it's just there's mental. Teams getting rid of coaches a week before the postseason and things, and Luka trade, and it's just mental. I wouldn't write anything off, mate.
I hate to rewind, Matt, but just while you've mentioned that, I did say to a good mate of mine the other day, I think Joe Mazzulla's now on the hot seat, not for the reasons, not for the reasons that most people will say.
Okay.
I think the reasons is that you have got 2 of the best coaches that are available right now. I mean, how many coaches have been free and available for the last 3 years? Pretty much no one.
No.
Which is why Milwaukee ended up going and getting Doc Rivers.
Yeah.
But you've now got Mike Malone and Taylor Jenkins both available.
Yeah.
So it just asks a question. If you're going to have a season where we're starting from scratch almost next year, might be a good time to pick one of those coaches up. And it's how the timeline works, isn't it? This is just how it happens. It's the business at the end of the day. It's just
not writing anything off, bro. Not writing anything off. On another season, I think, no, you meant you know whatever. No. But this season, I'm like, yeah, okay, that could happen too. That could happen too. But I read yesterday the Suns are starting their coaching search. They've requested to interview 20 coaches for the head coaching job. 20.
Well, Matt, I'm not being funny. If you're interviewing 20 coaches, that says to me that you don't really know what direction you're going in.
No, it doesn't sound good at all. I did not like that at all. I did not like that idea at all.
I'd think interviewing more than 5 is excessive.
Yeah, 20's ridiculous.
20's over the. Well, you're taking a piss a bit there, aren't you?
I mean, who are we interviewing? I don't think I can name 20 coaches. Just ridiculous. Yeah, crazy. But who knows? Anyway, we'll have to move on, mate. So we're going out west now. So we go number 1 seed, Oklahoma City Thunder, Denver Nuggets. Thunder winning a big Game 5. Most teams who win Game 5 usually end up winning the series. Thunder, a bit of a comeback win for the Thunder. They were down in the 4th. They took Game 5 last night, so now they lead 3-2. Going back to Denver. George, how have you been enjoying this series as a complete neutral for this one? So no real skin in the game, or maybe some money on the outright. I don't know, but what are your thoughts on this one, bro?
Yeah, obviously, it's the only basketball thing really that's put a smile on my face in the last 48 hours. Obviously, I've got quite a tasty amount of money to collect if the Thunder end up winning the chip this year.
Not divulging the amount.
Thanks to the Eagles winning the Super Bowl, it was a nice double I put on.
Nice, yes, let's go.
We're not far away now.
No, man, nice.
But I think realistically, Game 4, Matt, do we even talk about it?
That was one ugly game of basketball, bro.
Quite possibly the worst quality I've ever seen in a playoff series, let alone in a second round playoff series. The teams were a combined 2 of 31 at the end of the second quarter, and at halftime, it was 4 of 40 from 3 between both teams. Yeah. We've seen it before where one team shot horrendously, but for both of them to do it at the same time is just bizarre, really. And the thing that makes it even stranger is there were a lot of those were wide open or practically wide open 3 shots.
They were.
There was no good defense being played. They were just both missing lots of threes.
Not just missing, like air balls, like miles off. Like
I can remember putting a message in saying, "Is there some sort of wind within the arena that's making this happen?"
Yeah, I mean, Denver scored 8 points, didn't they, in the first quarter? 8 points, mate. I mean, that's tough to do, bro. That's hard work. That's really hard to do.
Jokic wasn't able to make anything.
No.
And then somehow 44 points last night.
Yeah, he bounced back, didn't he? You don't keep a good man down very long, do you, bro?
Well, I think it goes to show, again, to use that word again, resilience and the toughness that OKC have shown to win a scrappy game in that Game 4. And there'd be plenty of people who would say that Denver would favour a scrappy game over the OKC Thunder.
Yeah.
And then again last night, 44 points from Jokic, 28 from Murray, combined for 72 points on unbelievable efficiency. Yeah. And you still win.
Yes.
That's the hallmark of a very, very good team to be able to overcome that, battle through it, overturn a fourth quarter deficit and win the game, with a bit of room to spare in the end.
Yeah.
Some
people were saying, like, in this series, they were like, Jokic, and SGA, they haven't really shown that they're the MVP and things. And especially after Game 3, I don't think anybody shined well in Game 3, did they? Like you said, it was just a dogfight, wasn't it? And it was whoever kind of scored the last basket won, for sure. But a lot better shooting and a lot better game. It was a decent game last night as well, this one, George.
Yeah. I just think as well is that although, in Game 4, it was a dogfight and it was ugly to watch. Shea stepped up when it mattered. He was good in the fourth quarter.
He rallied, didn't he?
He realised that the shot wasn't going. The mid-range game wasn't going, so he just kept driving to the basket, and he was just scoring or getting to the free throw line. He was doing his job. So, I just think that's the hallmark of a good player. When when everyone's playing crap, you step it up and you still deliver in a way that you can, even though it's all going a bit pear-shaped.
Yeah.
I think they're good value for the lead, the Thunder, and I think they will 100% want to close this out. Don't want a Game 7. Let's not be playing with fire. And if you can just turn it on, which is not going to be easy to do. It gets very loud in the ball arena, especially when the backs are going to be against the wall.
Yeah.
This is definitely going to be the most exciting second round series, I think, out of all of them. It's just begging for a Game 7, though, Matt, isn't it? Surely.
I want it to go 7. I want it to go 7, man. Yeah,
I think he's primed for a Game 7. I think.
Yeah, and then all bets are off, bro, isn't it? Who knows? Who knows what happens in a Game 7? But if you want a Game 7, you want it to be at home, and that's why OKC had the regular season that they did because of these situations. If it goes to 7, you will be at home.
Can I just say, Matt, if it goes to 7. Tip time is 8:30 on Sunday, the 18th of May.
Yes,
beautiful to see.
Nice UK-friendly tip-off time there, bro. Yeah, absolutely. So, going back to last night's game, OKC outscored the Denver in the fourth, 34-19. So it was a good comeback win. The defense intensified as well in the fourth, I thought. Like you say, Jokic was fantastic. 17 of 25 from the field he was. Murray had 28 points, but it was 10 of 27, so it wasn't a great efficiency.
Really? I thought I must have misread that. I thought it was 10 of 17.
10 of 27, mate.
Well, right,
yeah.
well, I'll take back my earlier comment. I misread that massively.
No, you're good, mate. You're good. But no other Denver player had more than 13 after that. You got to have that third guy. It's got to be somebody.
It has been Aaron Gordon, but
it has been Aaron Gordon, but not last night, unfortunately. So that's the difference then. That's probably the difference then in the game, isn't it, bro? That's where it is. So, as a neutral, just really enjoying this series, I am, because it's just an absolute dogfight, and it's Jokic and Murray dragging this Denver team against the best overall regular season team this season in the Thunder. Shea's being Shea, isn't he, doing his thing, and Dort had some nice moments last night, good defense and things like that. It's a chess match. And I hate to keep bringing it up, bro, but the Nuggets coach has only been coaching for about 3 weeks. It's just madness. It's absolute. I mean, hypothetically, this is a crazy thought, Joe, but what if the Nuggets win the title this year? What does that say about your head coaches? I just chuck somebody in, mate. Right?
Yeah, you don't need one, do you? You got Jokic out there. Who needs a coach?
I mean, what we're saying about coaches to pay him all this money, and we'll just bring this guy in. We'll get rid of our coach and we'll do this. What does that say?
I think the rumor is that they're already happy for him to take next season. Regardless what happens in this series, it sounds as if he's already going to get the job next year.
Yeah, I mean, he does come from a family of coaches. His dad, Rick Adelman, he's got to be in the top 10 in wins. Rick Adelman, he won a lot of regular season games as an NBA coach, so he's coming from a good pedigree. But the first head coaching job, and you're just right into playoff basketball, absolute baptism of fire, isn't it, bro?
Yeah, well, I mean, you either sink or swim, don't you? And he's I mean, obviously, I don't know how much influence he's actually having on it, but
yes,
he's the man in, he's the man there, so he's got to be doing something. You'd think. But yeah, it's just strange, isn't it? I mean, how many times have we seen it recently where there's just been a trend, hasn't there, recently, of sort of first, second year coaches being able to do it in the playoffs, which ordinarily never happened. And now all of a sudden there's just a wheelhouse of people coming out and being able to do it. So
the thing I have been noticed is Jokic's assists are down. His assists are quite a lot down than what they have been.
Four last night, wasn't it? I think
5. And I think in the series, he's only averaging just over 5 a game. So his assists are way down from what they've been in the regular season. He's averaging like 10, 11 assists in the regular season. So it's I don't know if that's something OKC are doing, and trying to, make him into a scorer and go, right, well, you get your points. Murray, you can have yours. We limit everybody else. We win the game. Is that the kind of strategy? But it just kind of popped out to me, kind of looking at, and watching the games and stuff.
Well, I mean, in game 4, I don't know who was doing the commentary for game 4, but I don't know if it might have been Richard Jefferson. I can't really remember off the top of my head, but whoever it was just saying that all Mark Daigneault is doing is just throwing bodies at Nikola Jokic. Were they watching the same game as I was? Because he wasn't doing that.
No.
It was a lot of the time, Nikola Jokic, he was just being guarded by one player.
I don't know if it was Jay Billis. Not sure.
I was like, well, he's not. They're letting him play because, I mean, in a way, he's not used to that, is he? He's not used to just being guarded by one player. And I just wonder if that sort of made him second guess some of his decisions. Because he wasn't being forced into making a decision, was he? He had time to decide what he was going to do with it. But obviously, it's not helped when, like last night, for example, no one's making any shots. I mean, if Murray missed 17 of those shots, how many of those were passed to him by Jokic?
Yes, and then obviously your assists
he might make a few more shots, and we might be looking at a triple double from last night. So
I mean, he still had 44 and 15, so I'm not quite, pushing the panic button just yet, bro.
No, it's not bad. It's not bad, is it?
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's still very, very good, obviously, but yeah, just something kind of jumps out at you. So back to the Nuggets for Game 6. Big Game 6 coming up, so it's win or go home mentality now for Denver. But when you've got somebody like Jokic, you've always got a shot, haven't you? I think OKC do quite a good job in hurrying Jokic, because Jokic, he's very comfortable, isn't he? He does it at his own pace. It's all very methodical and all that. They do a very good job of doubling him at the right time and making him think a little bit quicker than he needs to, and then that could sometimes lead. He's had some games where he's had like 6 or 7 turnovers and things, which is very uncharacteristic for Jokic, isn't it? But when you have the ball so much, I mean, your turnovers will go up, won't they? But I think OKC are doing a good job of kind of making it difficult. And Hartenstein trying to play Jokic one-on-one is probably the most difficult job in the NBA to guard somebody one-on-one. Trying to guard Jokic one-on-one is, I think, he's doing as good a job as I think anybody could.
Yeah, well, where did they get him from, Matt? Who was his previous coach?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah.
He doesn't say any more.
The defense rests, yeah, absolutely. But really enjoying the series. So can't love it. Look forward to Game 6 for that one, and see if the Nuggets can force a Game 7, which would be, as George says, at a very UK friendly 8:30 on Sunday. So
you know what's going to happen? This will be over in 6.
Well, there's no game on Saturday already. So if they close it out, I don't think there's a game on Sunday either. So we'll have a weekend of no basketball, which is like not cool, I don't think.
Well, unless the Warriors somehow miraculously win.
Well, exactly. Yes, very true. Speaking of the Warriors, nice segue there, bro. Very good. We're going to Timberwolves and the Warriors. We mentioned about the Curry injury on the last show, so it's an unfortunate thing. Another series kind of dominated by the injury, but the Timberwolves managed to grab a game in Golden State and are now 3-1 to the good and looking to close this out tonight in Minnesota. How are you feeling about this one, George? Can the Wolves kind of stage a comeback here, or is the writing on the wall here for Draymond and his crew?
Well, I mean, it's a big ask now, isn't it? It's a massive, massive ask for them to climb this hill. With no Steph Curry as well. Jimmy Butler, uncharacteristically dreadful game. 9 shot attempts.
Yeah,
and he's probably, he is without question at the minute the number one offensive option.
Yeah,
and you're taking 9 shots. Not sure about that. But obviously, the other thing is that he was minus 30. Minus 30. They're numbers that you do not associate with Jimmy Butler in the playoffs, especially.
No.
So I'm really not sure what was going on there. I don't know if Steve Kerr, for whatever reason, was telling him not to shoot, but that's probably the only thing that I can really put it down to.
Yeah.
It was just very, very strange. Anthony Edwards continues to just elevate, doesn't he? He's
bad man.
He's proving tough to stop, which I think goes without saying. It's not a surprise to me. But there is one man that we need to discuss, and we just touched on him a little bit last week. But Julius Randle.
What is happening?
Who saw this coming? Who really? Even Julius Randle's mum probably didn't even think that he was going to be able to do this. The last 3 games in this series, 24, 7, and 11 assists, 24, 10 rebounds, 12 assists, triple-double, and then in game 4, 31 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists.
Yeah.
This is just, I mean, it's crazy, man. When you've got Edwards going and doing it, And then he's been having a consistent second option that can make his own shot, that doesn't rely on, any specific kind of plays. He can shoot the ball, all right, not amazingly well, but he's got a 3 ball. Can drive inside, mid range, around the, in the paint and around the basket. He's obviously very good. I mean, it is just, it's amazing that he's managed to sort of turn this round after, how terrible it ended. I'm not going to keep going on about it, but how terrible it ended in New York. And this is the kind of running mate that you want if you're going to win an NBA championship. And I think they are very quickly inserting themselves as title favourites, I think, the way this is going. And I think if the Thunder do fall to the Nuggets, I wouldn't make the Nuggets favourites. I would make the Timberwolves favourites. I think they have just got a really good roster together. They've got a variety off the bench that can do a bit of everything. They've got a star player that is producing star player-like numbers. And he's got a second option that's elevated his game to like never seen before heights. So we talked about hitting form at the right time, Matt. This is the prime example of it, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, they didn't look like they had it all regular season. It just wasn't working. Things, and then just like the last couple of months of the season, things started to turn. And like you said, man, they've just kind of hit the right form at the right time. And, now they're kind of, steamrolling through the playoffs. This was this is why you traded for Randall. This is the ideal. This is, as the GM, you must have pictured this is how it could have been. This is the ceiling on what it could be. We've got Ant, who's the go-to guy, and then Randall as your kind of number 2. And, he's averaging 8 assists a game, Randall, in this series. Like you say, he's become like a bit of a playmaker as well, which I didn't really know that he would. He had that in him really as well. So it's like you say, it's a tough one for the Warriors. I mean, Game 4, that game was over quite early on in the third quarter. Timberwolves made a run, didn't they? And it was done. In the end, Timberwolves only won by 7, but anybody who watched it was over way before that. So when there's nothing more funny, mate, when Anthony he's out there, he's barking at people, and it's just great to watch, mate. I love it, mate. And he's just such a good player to watch, mate. His intensity and everything, it's great, man.
You got that dog in him.
He's got something in him, bro. Honestly, it's just brilliant. I love it. Absolutely love it. It's just, he's out there dunking on people and yelling at folk and yelling at people in the crowd and stuff. It's just brilliant. But yeah, ideal scenario at the moment. I mean, Randall had a very good series against the Lakers, didn't he, as well? So this isn't a fluke. This is you've kind of got that consistency in now. So can he keep it going? This was always my ideal scenario for Randall. It was somebody else who you could give the ball to in playoff games, at the end of the shot clock or end of games, and somebody who can get his own shot, because other than Edwards, they haven't really got anybody who could do that. It was all, they got to be set up by somebody else. Randall is somebody you can shut the ball to, and he can get to spots and he can score by himself. And yeah, it's just at the moment it's working very well. I mean, the Warriors, it's a tough one without Curry, and it a big ask. And Jimmy Butler's got me playoff Jimmy, and so far, I mean, I think Game 3 he had a decent game, didn't he? I think he had nearly 30.
Yeah, it was over 30 points.
Yeah, but the last game, like you say, wasn't Jimmy, and now the margins now for the Warriors are so fine. Everybody's got to play well for them to win. And so far, that hasn't happened. It's kind of been fits and starts, hasn't it? So, have you enjoyed Draymond Green's antics in this series, mate? He's wrestling with people and yelling at refs, and it's the ultimate Draymond experience, right?
Well, but remember, he's not angry.
He's
not angry.
He doesn't like this notion that's been peddled. As an angry man.
Well, stop acting so angrily then. And then people won't make the comments, would they?
Yeah. You might not be an angry man, but you do angry man things.
Well, exactly.
I'm sticking with that notion, mate. So yeah.
So I just obviously it's the competitiveness and everything else, but look, he's widely regarded as a dirty player who does, he's a master of the dark arts. That has been your reputation for a long time. It's not like this has just been dreamt up in the last few months.
No.
This has been your reputation for the last decade.
Yeah.
So, this is nothing new. So I don't know. It's just a never-ending circus with him, isn't it? Really.
Yeah. Shout out to Chris Finch as well for the Timberwolves. I was always a bit unsure on Finch whether he was kind of astute enough as a coach earlier on in his career, but the last couple of years, especially, I think he's shown that he's up there in one of the probably top 10 coaches in the league. I think he's done a very good job with this team and in what they do and stuff like that. So shout out to Chris Finch. So is Curry going to come back, George? Is he, or is this done?
Oh, it's a tough one because I'm sure
they keep saying he's had a good workout the other day, I
think Steph Curry being Steph Curry.
I don't believe it.
if he is able to play, he will play because it's Steph Curry. I don't think it matters that the series is 3-1 until there's a number 4 next to the Timberwolves. They're still going to believe that it's not over yet.
Sure.
Because that's the championship mentality.
He's not playing Game 5 though, is he? He's not. He's definitely out.
If he's not playing Game 5, then this is over. This will be 4-1. This will be done.
Is this done? Yeah. Okay.
I think going back to Minnesota when they've just won 2 on the road, the momentum's all behind them, and they don't have any Steph Curry, and the way that other players have not stepped up in his absence would just fill me with immense confidence that it could be a real statement performance. Try and blow them out. Get it wrapped up, and then you can, have a couple more days off.
You've got to have a very good game from Butler, Kuminga, and Hield, haven't you, for the Warriors to have any chance? And I
mean, in fairness, because I know Rob was saying it last week, Kuminga he's stepped up, man. 30 points the other night, and then again, I think he led the team in scoring, didn't he, in Game 4?
Yes.
Yes, I think he did. He's definitely stepped up off the bench. But I mean, he can't. Unfortunately, he can't. He's not going to win this on his own, especially in limited minutes. They need Butler to step up and step up fast. I can't see it happening, mate. I just think the Timberwolves just got too much. They got too much for them.
Have we seen the last of playoff Jimmy?
I don't think so.
No, he's still got another one. He's still got another one in him, right?
I still think so. I think he's, okay. I think he'll just play the contract out, and then perhaps that's it. But no, I don't think so. He's had half a season in Golden State. I don't think it'd be very strange for him to turn around and say, no, I'm done. But obviously, like you keep saying, Matt, strange things have happened this season. So,
yes, yeah. Can he reach that level of playoff Jimmy that we've seen over the years? Can he reach that level again now? Can he do that? Because it's been a while since we've seen that playoff Jimmy Butler kind of, intensity and putting a team on his back. Can he do that anymore? That'd be my biggest worry as a Warriors fan.
Obviously it remains to be seen, but I think the 9 shot attempts it's puzzling more than anything.
Yes, very passive. Yeah.
Is his heart in it? That's the question. I think the bigger question is not, can he still do it? It's does he really want to do it?
Yes.
Is there enough? Is the fire still there for him to think, yeah, I'm still going to do it? Or, has he done it time and time again and no one's helped him and it's failed that he just thinks, I can't do this anymore?
Yeah. I mean, he had 26 shots in Game 3. So that's the level.
Exactly.
That's the shot attempts you need to be at, isn't it? And he had 33. He said 30-odd points, didn't you, mate? So, so that's the Jimmy that they need to have tonight to have any chance. But he has a history with Minnesota. They boo him every time he gets the ball, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you can't win without me. Well, are those words about to come back and sting him big time this year? Who knows?
Yeah, No, I think it's well, maybe Jimmy just knows it's over with Steph out. I think he just knows the writing's on the wall, mate.
Yeah, but again, that's not the attitude of a champion, is it? Champion wouldn't do that.
Ooh, calling out Jimmy Butler.
Oh, no, but it's a fact. He's not a champion.
No, he's not. No, you're right, bro. He's been there. He's been at the dance a lot of times. Well, a few times now. Hasn't managed to see it through twice, hasn't he? So in the bubble and then against the Nuggets. So hasn't been able to see it through. So, don't underestimate the heart of a champion, as Tom Jonovich said years ago. So, oh dear, Jimmy just might not have what it takes. Now there's your 30-second soundbite.
Yeah, well, he just needs to take advice from his dad. Six rings, Michael Jordan won.
Yes, he did. A lot. What did you think of the rumor that Jordan's going to be on NBC next year? Michael Jordan, bro. What were your thoughts on that one?
I think he'll make a few appearances and then everyone will realise that he's just a hater of the modern era, and he just won't get invited back.
It's going to be a great 5-minute segment, though, isn't it? When Jordan's just going on a rant about today's state of the league and stuff. I'm all up for that. I'm well into that.
Yeah, but I think you contrast that with the job that Tom Brady's done. The NFL last year with Fox, and I mean, he was giving everyone more than ample respect, wasn't he? And that's the way that you need to approach it.
Yeah. I don't know how they allow Brady to be a commentator when he's a part owner of a team. I don't know how you're allowed to do that. I didn't think you were allowed to do that.
I don't think it really matters. Not to me. I know there might be processes and things, but it's not. It doesn't impact the game itself, does it? So
no. I just don't know how the league let him do it when you're a part owner, being a commentator. I don't know how they let him do that.
Because it's Tom Brady.
Because it's Tom Brady. Yeah, that's the actual answer. That's correct. Yes, that's it. It's Tom Brady. That's it. Sounds. Anything else to bring up, George? I think we're done, bro.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it, man. It's a good place to leave it, isn't it? I just think, obviously, it's not. It's obviously for me, it feels very deflating, but I still watched the Pacers game last night, so the fire's still there, and it's going to be a really exciting sort of end to the season. I think this is. It's the most watched NBA playoffs since pre-COVID.
Right, is it?
It's quite good to see. Obviously, there's been issues recently, but I think it is because this year, I think it is very wide open. And I know, obviously, the bookies are making the Thunder more or less odds-on favourites to win it. I disagree with that. I still want them to win, obviously, but for third-party reasons. But I think that this is the first playoffs for quite a few years where there's no clear-cut favourite. I think that makes it a really interesting watch for the neutral. I'd be very surprised with the teams left if the finals ends up being another 5-gamer. I think we could see a really thrilling finals this year.
What's the NBA's nightmare of a finals matchup then with the teams that are left? Indiana, Minnesota, I feel like is a
well, yeah, but I think if you're an NBA fan, that's a really exciting final.
Exactly, that's the point. But for the NBA casual, they'd be like Indiana, Minnesota. But for people who watch, great point, bro. That it's like, yeah, man, I'd watch 7 games of that, bro. Like,
but at the same time, this is the NBA Finals. It's not designed for the casual.
Very true, absolutely.
The teams that get to the finals deserve to be there. So you either watch it or you piss off and whinge somewhere else.
And there's plenty of places you can do that, sir. So yeah, absolutely. But for the NBA, a nightmare scenario. There's no LeBron, no Curry, no Celtics, no Lakers. Just, I don't know how the NBA feel about it, or maybe they don't care. And like you say,
but I think at the same time, I know obviously for the name reputation, if it was the Knicks and the the Timberwolves. That's probably really that's not any different, is it? Really?
And to be honest, any teams that are left now, bro, I think the finals would be a good series. I think whoever's left now.
Yeah.
Because, like you say, they're here for a reason, bro, aren't they? Like you say, they've played well. They've got through series. So whoever's left now, whoever it is, I think it'll be good, and it'll be decent occasions, man, for sure. So, like you say, this is for the NBA nutters. This is, mate. This is what it's about, isn't it? So, all good, man. But thanks very much, bro, for dropping in again. A pleasure as always. So, do you want to let people know where they can find you if they want to give you some love if the Celtics unfortunately go out tonight?
Yeah, so it's there we go. Got it right this time. There it is.
There he is. It's taken him 4 podcasts.
So you can just on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, go jump a follow on there. If you want to give me some sympathy for Tatum, or if you want to laugh at me, I don't mind either.
Always a pleasure, George. Thanks a lot for dropping in again, dude. So I'm Matt at Postal323, so you'll be able to rewatch this on YouTube, guys, and you'll be able to listen back to it in podcast form on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. We'll be back next week with another episode. I'll see if Jordan can make it 5 in a row. I mean, this is forget the NBA playoffs. This is the streak that everybody wants to know. So we'll see if he can make it 5 straight. But stay tuned for another episode coming soon, guys. So we'll see you again very soon.